Hi guys, welcome back to week 7 of BUS495 Strategic Management. We have Easter Sunday actually is today, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful Easter or has had a wonderful Easter depending on when you're watching the video, and everybody is traveling and will get home safely. Michael Porter is a academic, works for Harvard University. He once stated that there's a fundamental distinction between strategy and operational effectiveness. There's a fundamental distinction between strategy and operational effectiveness. Now, let's take a look at what we're working on in week 7. Maybe that'll make more sense. So, we have chapter 9 is strategic outsourcing, vertical integration, and horizontal integration. Chapter 10 is related and unrelated diversification. Let's read those two chapters. Let's include chapters 9 and 10 PowerPoints. The files are under the week 7 readings. Make sure that we get those all in there before we take our quiz on Friday. Quizzes on Friday or Saturday, whenever you take your quizzes. On the discussion, I want you to research a company that is currently engaged in strategic outsourcing, explain how the relationship is mutually beneficial in terms of corporate level strategy. Most consumer electronics are engaged in some measure of outsourcing, just to give you a hint. I also want to talk about, I would love if somebody were to bring up President Clinton's proposal to tax companies that are outsourcing manufacturing to other countries and then bringing the goods back into the United States. That was talked about down in Mexico right before his, I think this is back in December, Carrier in Indiana, some air conditioning company I believe it was about ready to close a plant and move the production down to Mexico when that was, I think some incentives were offered by the president-elect at that time to remain in Indiana, which they did. I think some of the incentives were put in place to allow them to keep the jobs in Indiana and keep everybody working, which was awesome. That's great that we can do that. So I'd love to know your thoughts about this taxation, putting a large tax on product that is manufactured and then brought in from American-owned companies, outsourcing the production and bringing the production back in. So our cell phones obviously would be one of them that would be huge, a huge tax on our cell phones, which of course are expensive enough. We have an assignment this week. Is the closing case on page 304. Make sure that we read that and do questions 1 and 3 on page 306. Also read the closing case on page 341 and complete questions 2 and 3 on page 344. Remember, punctuation, spelling, sentence structure all counts. Make sure we're writing correctly. We're not abbreviating. We're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing. Then, of course, you have your 2 tests or 2 quizzes to do, Chapter 9 and Chapter 10 quiz. Those are due by the end of the week. Make sure we tackle those as well. Guys, we are moving along quickly. If you have any questions, if you need some assistance, please, please, please get hold of me. Contact me via email, call me, text me, whatever it takes. And I will get back with you as soon as I can. All right, guys, let's get on it. Let's have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.